Can we give an applause to the people that came all the way here to give a defense, please? It's not easy. You did a good job, but it's to give you an example of the deceiving ways some Muslims try to practice in trying to convert Christians into Christianity. These days, what I'm going to do is to deliver some lectures that will tackle things like historical criticism, textual criticism, external criticism, and internal criticism. I'm going to try to tackle all these aspects. I'm going to do it in a way that will be very practical. So I'm not going to train you to deal with Muslim scholars. I'm going to do it in a way that you can use arguments against the layman, so to speak, but also to be well equipped so that you know the many things that are going on the internet and in the world. So you can also train other Christians that might be struggling with Christianity and probably considering Islam. So I want to equip you well, not just with basics, but with basics and well. Now, there's a $1 million question. Something we haven't mentioned is, what is Islam? So we already know what Christianity is, but what is Islam? To be honest, the origins of Islam are very unclear, are very shadowy, and it seems that the best thing to conceive in our minds is that Islam was a kind of Arian heresy, so a Christian heresy in the beginning that historically progressed into the heresy we know today. So it seems that Arabs were used as soldiers, sometimes by the Sassanid Empire, sometimes by the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire. They were in war against each other, the Byzantine Empire and what is today Iran, the Sassanid Empire, Persian empires, and so on. They were struggling, and they hired Arab mercenaries. When those empires weakened each other, then they took the opportunity to grow, and then they embraced many things that are found in Persian mythology, bits of Christianity, well, many bits of Christianity, many things from Judaism. They were considered an Arian heresy, but they wanted to build an Arab empire. That's my belief, my personal belief. And then things developed into the religion we know today, which is basically pure imperialism. The goal of Islam is to subdue the world and to destroy religions. We will see that through these lectures. But Islam is not about salvation, how to know God, how to please God, how to love God. It has bits of that, but it's basically a man-made religion made for men. You will see, it's not for women, it's for men. But the paradigm of Christianity and the paradigm of Islam can be summarized in Christ and Muhammad. And where do you find more accurately Christ? Well, in the scriptures, in the Gospels, in the Old Testament. The Old Testament speaks about him. And in fact, he is in the Old Testament, as you will see in the angel of the Lord and some appearances. We find Christ in the Bible. And where do we find Muhammad? Well, we don't find Muhammad that much in the Quran, to be honest. We find him in other writings, in the Sunnah, the Sirah, that's the biographies, the Hadiths, and the Tafsir. The Hadiths and Tafsir are the sayings about Muhammad, and Tafsir is basically commentaries on the Quran. So what I'm going to do now, until the end, until we finish today's lecture, is to give you information. You don't have to write it down. So I will give you these paper. So if you need to take and write down details, you will have it. I want you to listen to the things I'm going to say. So I'm going to start saying, who is Jesus according to Islam? Not according to Christianity, according to Islam. And then I will say, who is Muhammad according to the Quran, according to Islam, according to the Quran, Hadiths, the Sirah, and Tafsirs, and so on. I'm going to start with Christ. According to the Quran acknowledges the maternal family of Jesus. It says in Quran 3:33 and 36:42, indeed, Allah chose Adam, Noah, the family of Abraham, and the family of Imran. That's, you will see, that's the father of Mary, according to the Quran, above all people of their time. In Arabic, is of the worlds. They are descendants of one another, and Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing. Remember when the wife of Imran said, my Lord, I dedicate what is in my womb entirely to your service, so accept it from me. You alone are truly the all-hearing, all-knowing. When she delivered, she said, my Lord, I have given birth to a girl, and Allah fully knew what she had delivered, and the male is not like the female. I have named her Mary, and I seek your protection for her and her offspring from Satan, the accursed. So remember this. Jesus' mother is a great, great woman protected from Satan. And then it says also, and remember when the angel said, oh Mary, surely Allah has selected you, purified you, and chosen you over all women of the world. So Mary is great in the Quran. Then Quran 19, ayah 19 says that Jesus is sinless, is pure. It says, he responded, I'm only a messenger from your Lord, sent to bless you with a pure son. That's Jesus. His mother is great, blessed, protected from God, and he is pure. Quran 19, ayah 13. Jesus declared, I'm truly a servant of Allah. He has destined me to be given the scripture and to be a prophet. So he's a servant. But do you know the funny thing about this story? Here is Jesus speaking. Do you know at what age was he speaking according to this context? When he was a baby. That was a baby born, and he was saying things to the people. Allah has sent me to be a prophet. We believe in the hypostatic union, that he was fully man and fully God, but we don't believe that he had powers and he was special in his humanity when he was a baby. He needed to learn language. He needed to grow. His throat, his system wasn't fully developed. Therefore, he couldn't think properly as a human. He had to learn, and he couldn't do many things as a human being. He was a baby born, like all of us when we were a baby born. It says also in a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari the following. Allah's messenger said, by him in whose hands my soul is, surely Jesus, the son of Mary, will soon descend amongst you and will judge mankind justly as a just ruler. He will break the cross. He will break the cross and kill the pigs, and there will be no jizya. That's a Muslim taxation. Money will be in abundance so that nobody will accept it, and a single prostration to Allah will be better than the whole world and whatever is in it, and so on and on. So basically, this hadith is saying that Jesus will come back and judge the whole world, mankind, as a just ruler. So that's not Christianity, that's not the Bible, that's a hadith. But do you know that according to Islamic prerogatives, Jesus is God? I'm going to give you some examples. Quran 22, verses 6 and 7 says that God is Al-Baith, the raiser. John 11, verses 23 to 27 says that Jesus is also the raiser, the one who will raise the dead from the tombs. Also, the same thing we see in John chapter 6, verses 39 to 44, Revelations 1:18. Quran 2:27 says that God is Al-Muhyi and Al-Mumit, the one who gives life and the one who makes die. That's the same thing you can find in John chapter 5, in many verses in John chapter 5, in John chapter 11, 14, in Revelations, Quran chapter 2 and Quran chapter 5. In some verses, you can find that God is the living, Al-Hayy. That's the same thing you see in John 11:25 and Revelations 1:18 again. Quran 22, verse 6, and other passages in the Quran, it says that God is Al-Haq, the truly real, the true one. But we know that Jesus is the true one, according to John 14, verse 6, John 6:44, and other texts. Also, Quran 57, verse 3 says that God is Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir. That's the first and the last, the beginning and the end. And you know that in Isaiah 41, God, Yahweh himself, defines his attributes in this way. He's the first and the last, the beginning and the end. But that's applied to Jesus in Revelations. Revelations 21, Revelations 22. He applies that to himself. So according to Islamic parameters, prerogatives, Jesus' titles, according to the Bible, are prerogatives equal to God according to the Quran. Now, who is Muhammad? Remember, Jesus' mother is absolutely blessed, very blessed. But here in Sahih Muslim 21:30, we find that Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, I sought permission to beg forgiveness for my mother. That's Muhammad. But he did not grant it to me. I sought permission from him to visit her grave, and he granted it to me. And then Abu Huraira reported, the apostle of Allah visited the grave of his mother, and he wept and moved others around him to tears and said, I sought permission from my Lord to beg forgiveness for her, but it was not granted to me. And I sought permission to visit her grave, and it was granted to mortal. So I visit the graves, for that makes you mindful of death. Sorry, I think I have a typo here. And then narrated from Anas that a man said, O messenger of Allah, where is my father? He said, in hell. In hell. When he turned away, he called him back and said, my father and your father are in hell. So Jesus' family is blessed, protected from Satan. Muhammad's family is doomed in hell. Now, Muhammad was a sinner. We saw that Jesus is pure according to Quran. But according to Islam, he was a sinner. Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet said, I've been given 5 things which were not given to anyone else before me. Allah made me victorious by all for a distance of 1 month's journey. The earth was being made for me and for my followers, a place for praying and a thing to perform tayammum. Therefore, anyone of my followers can pray whatever the time of prayer is due. The booty has been made halal for me, yet it was not lawful for anyone else before me. I have been given the right of intercession. That means he can be interceded. So receive salvation means that he is not saved. At least he was not saved at that point. Maimuna said, Allah's messenger was praying while I was in my menses, sitting beside him, and sometimes his clothes would touch me during his prostration. Maimuna added, he prayed on a kumrah. That's a practice to receive forgiveness. Quran 40, ayah 55, therefore have patience, God's promise is surely true. Implore forgiveness. That's God speaking to Muhammad. Implore forgiveness. Quran 48, verse 2, so that Allah may forgive you. That's to Muhammad, may forgive you, Muhammad. Quran 47, 19. So know, well, O Prophet, that there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. And seek forgiveness. He wasn't forgiven. And indeed, I'm going to explain you some examples of sins Muhammad committed that are truly, truly disgusting. These are found in many passages, but as I said before, you can find them here in this paper if you want to take notes. There was a story related to the clan of the Bani Nadir, that was a Jewish clan living in Saudi Arabia, what it was Saudi Arabia at that time. Then Muhammad fought Safiya bin Huyay's father and brother in a battle. So there was tensions between Muhammad and the Bani Nadir. They were settled in a place in Saudi Arabia. He fought them, he assaulted them, he entered into the place because the Bani Nadir knew that they had no weapons or enough soldiers to fight back. He took all the money and he left. Time later, he went there to ask money, and even you will see more details. I can expand myself on that because there are many silly stories there. A year after, Muhammad assaulted Medina, and that's where he killed the father of Safiya bin Huyay and her brother too. He assaulted that place. He killed these two men. Then all the Bani Nadir had to move to the oasis in Khaybar. And then Muhammad, time later, assaulted the oasis in Khaybar. He wanted money. That's the attitude proper of a mafia, seeking for money. He went to that oasis asking for money again. It wasn't the first time. He tortured Safiya bin Huyay, was a Jewish woman, sorry. She was married, well, we don't know if she was married or engaged, to a man, Kenana ibn al-Rabi. Kenana was one of the leaders of the Bani Nadir at that time. Muhammad entered. He burned his chest in order to make him confess where the money was. The guy died without confessing. Then Muhammad killed all the men, all the soldiers, and took all women as captives. He took Safiya bin Huyay and her sister. He forced them to see all the corpses, beheaded. And well, Safiya bin Huyay's sister collapsed. And then she was given to a Muslim soldier. People began to say, Muslims began to say how beautiful Safiya bin Huyay was. Muhammad heard that. He wanted to see her. And he was in love with her. So he took her. He had sex with her multiple times during 3 days. And just be in her shoes. That's the man who killed her family, her husband, killed everybody, ruined her life forever. I don't think he was willing to go to bed with him. I don't think that's what you wish. The thing you want is judgment. Judgment upon him. He took her and he had sex with her for 3 days. Then he married her. What a good man. He was a defender of marriage. So that's one of his sins. You can see also details. There are plenty of hadiths and texts. He married Aisha when she was 6 years old. And then he consummated the marriage when she was 9, still playing with toys, pubescent, really nasty. I don't know, but in the West, it's popular to say that Muhammad forgave his haters. There's a story that you can't find anywhere about a Jewish woman or a woman, I don't remember, that used to make fun of Muhammad. And then Muhammad's men told him, why do you walk and pass by that woman without paying her off? And he said, no, have mercy on her. We'll try to find that text. Many people have tried to find it without success. On the contrary, I can tell you a similar story, but with a different result, with a different ending. I'm going to read the hadith. A blind man had a slave mother who used to abuse the prophet and disparage him. He forbade her, but she did not stop. He rebuked her, but she did not give up her habit. One night she began to slander the prophet and abuse him. So he took a dagger, placed it on her belly, pressed it, and killed her. A child who came between her legs was smeared with the blood that was there. When the morning came, the prophet was informed about it. He assembled the people and said, I adjure by Allah the man who has done this action, and I adjure him by my right to him that he should stand up. Jumping over the necks of the people and trembling, the man stood up. He sat before the prophet and said, Messenger of Allah, I'm her master. She used to abuse you and disparage you. I forbade her, but she did not stop. I rebuked her, but she did not abandon her habit. I have 2 sons like pearls from her, and she was my companion. Last night she began to abuse and disparage you. So I took a dagger, put it on her belly, and pressed it till I killed her. Thereupon the prophet said, Oh, be witness, no retaliation is payable for her blood. He defended her. He defended him, sorry. He defended the man. Also, there's another story. Muhammad fell in love with Zainab, that was his adopted son's wife. They put them together, but one day, Muhammad saw Zainab naked, and he liked her. So he managed to break that marriage and take Zainab for her. But then people began to criticize Muhammad for doing such an evil thing. What did he do? He sent his adopted son to a battle, an impossible battle to win against the Byzantines, and he died. Muhammad said, put Zaid, my adopted son, in the first line of battle. Do you know a story in the Bible that resembles this one?
Yes.
Which one? And how did God feel with David? Angry. He judged him. And here we have Muhammad being considered, according to Islam, according to the Quran, the best example given to mankind. So, I don't know if you have heard about these stories before. They are definitely crazy. He even tortured more people, killed lots of people, used to take Christian children as captives. There are many stories about giving permission to his men to kidnap women when they entered into a new place, and to take them, go to bed without marrying them. So these stories are there in Quran. I'm citing basically Quran 4, verse 34. He was a racist. He used to call black people racing head. He considered that the value, and I don't mean this to offend you, but that is the reality, and I'm very sad when African people embrace Islam. But he considered the value of an Arab slave equal to 2 black men slaves. That's the reality. And you can check this information. I have it here. He ordained to kill all non-Muslims in the world, to destroy. The only people that are considered second-class citizens are Jews and Christians. But under Islamic rule, we have to either convert to Islam or pay the jizya, which was a heavy tax imposed upon Jews and Christians. And history says that many people ended up becoming Muslims, not because they loved the religion, but because they needed to avoid those heavy taxes. They were mistreated, treated like animals. Lots of stories. Lots of stories. And if you don't become a Muslim or pay your jizya, then there was a third way. Can you guess what's the third way? Yes. So that's Islam. That's Muhammad. But even according to the Quran and according to Islamic literature, Christ is greater than Muhammad. And you can use, because sometimes when you come with the Bible, people may think, yeah, but I don't trust this book. But you can say, but you trust yours, right? Your book says that my prophet is holy. Your book doesn't say the same thing about your prophet. My book says that my prophet is God, according to your book. So there's no comparison. And we know that Jesus was the greatest man lived on earth. It's just like it's mind-blowing that when you know that when he was dying, when he was on the cross, and there was people making fun of him, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do." That's great. So, I mean, like, I think of myself, and if people were killing me and making fun of me, probably my last will, my last desire would be just like saying something nasty to them. But Christ was saying blessings to them. Forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do. According to Islam and according to Muhammad and according to all the things you have seen so far, do you think that Muhammad would have done the same? No. Do you have any questions so far? And by the way, feel free to interrupt me whenever you want. And if you see me walking, make the most of the days I'm going to stay with you. Do you have any question? Yeah? Would you like to do another simulation? But I'm looking for a brave person. I don't want to force anyone to come here because I think time is running out. But we still have some time, sorry. So to give you some of the practices, I think it's good. And please, when I do these simulations, I don't mean to embarrass you before others. No, I struggled very much when I was asked questions years ago by Muslims, and it's necessary to realize how skilled they can be at the art of deceiving people. So it's good to practice these things. But I need a brave person to come here. If I have to force you, it's not going to be the same. Okay, I'm going to force you. Oh, no. Please, an applause. Okay, we have spoken. I'm the Christian guy, so I'm not a Muslim. But by the way, I hope by next week you will convert me to Christianity, okay? Because that happens. It is important to give reasons. This is my, well, I will explain it to you later. We have seen who is Christ according to Islam, who is Muhammad according to Islam, according to Christianity. Muhammad is the Antichrist. And according to Christianity, Jesus is fully man, fully God, the Messiah, the only and perfect mediator between God and man, not because Not because he can walk in two worlds, but because he, in one person, has two natures and can reconcile the two natures in himself, in the one person. Now I'm the Muslim guy. Hello, sir. Are you a Muslim? Are you a Muslim? Can you spit on your on the Bible if you're a Muslim? They wouldn't have that. Well, they wouldn't do it reluctantly. So I'm trying to force you to be a Christian. Are you a Christian? No, no Muslim. Is that true? Yes. Okay, so I want you to be a Christian. So, are you a Christian or a Muslim? I'm not a. It's a real question. It's a Christian. So you deceived me. That's very good. For a moment, I believed you. Okay. No, you're a Christian, okay? I'm going to be the Muslim. Okay. Yeah. Hello, are you a Christian? I'm a Christian. Yeah, I'm a Muslim. I just want to ask you some questions because I always want to know about different religions. Do you really believe that Jesus is God? Yes, I do. Okay, so and you believe those things based on the Bible? I guess you read the Bible. So, okay, but how can you believe that God is the Bible? Sorry, that Jesus is God according to the Bible. The Bible itself says that the Father is the only true God. That's a thing in John chapter 17, verse 3. Jesus says, you are the only true God. That's pointing to God, not to himself. So if Jesus is saying that another one is the only true God, that means he's not the only true God. I'm not using the Quran. I'm using John chapter 17. What can you say about that?
Okay. I believe that Jesus, when he was born, had the nature of a man, of human. And it was expedient that at one point in time, he had to represent a particular nature. And as at this time, since he was talking about God, he was speaking as in the path of his humanity. That is why he was talking about God in that dimension.
Okay. Then do you think he was God, but during his humanity, he wasn't God?
He was God.
Okay. Then if he was God, how is that he is saying to another one, you are the only true God? That seems that he's not applying that title or that prerogative to himself. So if I'm Christ and you are God, God forgive me, and I say, you are the only true God, I'm implying that I'm not the only true God. How can you make sense of that?
Okay, this is a matter of the Trinity. If Christ is God, but incarnated, then at this point, he now is still God because he bore the two natures at the same time. But the God who is the Father wasn't bearing the two natures. So he being in human nature now has to represent God as his Father. Remember, in Hebrews, he talks about him not counting it robbery to seeing himself as God. And that's in line with what you're saying. But in the Trinity, you cannot say that Jesus is not God, and you can't say he is God and not human as long as his work on earth is concerned.
Okay. I'm trying to understand you. I think the passage is plain. It says, you are the only true God. Then if you believe that Jesus is also the only true God, how is that Jesus himself, that at that moment, he wasn't the only true God? Are you saying that while he was on earth, he stopped being the only true God? No. And then he became again to be the only true God?
No, it's not a...
Can the only true God stop being the only true God and then go back to be the only true God?
It's not a becoming,
Okay.
the sense that you would say. Let's take, for instance, if you were two guests or teachers, lecturers from the States, from UK that came, and you are talking, and the other person is sitting.
Okay.
And you said, I am the guest minister. And this person is also the guest minister. Now, do we say he is not and you are?
Mhm.
Because he also is one. Now, but when you go back now, you are who you are, and he who he is. But in the context of this assignment, you can't be just the guest minister because he is. He can't also just be because you are too. So in the place of the Trinity, in this defense, as we may say, I want to believe that Christ never stopped being God and didn't have to become God again in the context of becoming, because he was still God here while on earth.
Okay. Okay, so you are saying that it's not about becoming, but it's about, let's say, ontological matters. So, but Christ is saying that another one is the only true God. What I mean is the only true God. He's talking to another one, and he's saying that that other one is the only. So that's just applied only. That one is the only true God. If Jesus is also the only true God, but the problem here is with the term only. You are the only true God. Therefore, that's exclusive to you, to that one over there, not to me.
That will only work if you can separate the Father from the
Good. That's a good one. You are going well with that, exactly. Do you want to continue? I'm struggling. Oh, my goodness. Oh. A Christian that is defending well now his faith. Tell me. So you can't separate.
No, you can't separate.
Okay, but the other one is not there in that moment.
No. Let's look at this scenario. I'm a pastor.
Yes.
I'm also a student in the seminary here. Now, which of them is me? So you can separate the me that is a student from the me that is
Okay.
pastor.
Okay, but what are you talking about? So are you trying to divide the Father and the Son?
Nature. I'm not.
Okay.
It's not possible to create the division.
Okay, but what you have defined is roles within the same person.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. You can go back. I think an applause. He did it well. So it depends how skillful the person is, the Muslim, can go into modalism, try to drive him to a modalist view. Could be versions of Unitarians' belief. But he was good. He mentioned two things that we need to remember. In the Gospel of John says that Jesus and the Father are one. In John chapter 1, the first 4 verses, even in the whole prologue, you can see that Jesus is God. And he was God, always God from the very beginning,